You've probably been told that if a woman isn't interested, you should give up, move on, or try harder to prove your worth. However, here's an uncomfortable truth that many don't want to hear: women don't miss men because they need them. They miss men because those men know how to create a powerful emotional presence even when they are not around. This video is not about cheesy pickup lines or gimmicky tricks. It's about understanding female psychology on a deeper level, and subtly positioning yourself so that, even if a woman wasn't interested at first, she finds herself thinking about you when you're not around. Sounds impossible, right? But it's not. Indifference is not a permanent state, it's a reaction. And if you understand how to shift that reaction, you can completely change how a woman perceives you. Now, before you roll your eyes, understand this: making a woman miss you isn't about chasing her, begging for her attention, or proving your worth. In fact, those are the quickest ways to kill attraction. Women do not respect men who try too hard. The truth is, chasing flips the balance of power. When you chase, you make her feel like she holds all the control, and this leads to her not valuing you as much. Instead of her feeling lucky to have your attention, she begins to see you as the one desperately seeking hers. When you're constantly calling, texting, or trying to impress her, you're giving her an emotional oversupply. She doesn't need to think about you, because you've already made yourself too available. Think of it like this: if someone gives you free food every day, do you ever crave it? Probably not. But if that food suddenly disappears, you realize how much you miss it. The same principle applies here. Women don't miss men who chase. They miss men who create space and mystery. The mistake many men make is thinking that consistent attention and availability will win over a woman. But the truth is, women are drawn to men who have the ability to pull away and create a sense of absence. This absence is what sparks curiosity and, ultimately, desire. Here's another thing about chasing: it also communicates insecurity. It shows her that you don't see yourself as valuable enough to stand still and let her come to you. Women are highly attuned to insecurity, and nothing kills attraction faster than a man who seems desperate for validation. Women are attracted to men who have options, who value their time, and who are comfortable enough to not chase attention. If you want a woman, even one who isn't interested at first, to start missing you, the first rule is simple: stop chasing. By stepping back and giving her space to notice your absence, you actually create a situation where she has to think about you more. That silence, believe it or not, speaks louder than all the texts you could send. Imagine this: you text a woman 3 times a day, and she replies with short, dry messages. Instead of doubling down on your efforts, you stop texting completely for 2 days. What happens? More often than not, she will begin to wonder where you've gone. She might check your social media profile, or perhaps she'll reach out first. This is the power of pulling back. By not chasing her, you give her the opportunity to feel your absence, which sparks curiosity about why you haven't been in touch. And curiosity is a powerful thing. It's what makes people miss you. Women don't miss men who are predictable and always available. They miss the ones who aren't there all the time, who give them the space to think about them, wonder what they're doing, and feel the desire for their presence when it's not so easy to get. By mastering the art of creating space, you allow her to feel what it's like to be without you. And that feeling, of losing you or not knowing when she'll hear from you next, makes her miss you more than anything else you could do. So, if you want to change the dynamic and get her to think about you more, remember this: stop chasing. The moment you stop trying so hard and let her feel your absence, you'll begin to notice a shift in how she perceives you. Most men believe that constant communication is the key to making a woman like them. They think that by texting good morning, checking in during the day, and sending a good night message, they're showing effort and care. On the surface, it feels like they're doing the right thing, but in reality, this strategy often backfires, making her take you for granted. Why does this happen? The reason is simple: when your words are always available, they lose their value. If you're constantly present and available with your messages, they become predictable. Predictability, over time, kills attraction. She'll eventually get used to it and start seeing your messages as just another part of her day. Instead of feeling excited when she hears from you, she might just expect it. Silence, however, holds a lot of weight. It creates tension and opens the space for curiosity to grow. Women's minds work in mysterious ways. Curiosity is often more powerful than familiarity. When you're silent for a while, you give her the chance to wonder, why isn't he texting me? What's he doing? Who is he with? That wondering, that slight uncertainty, is what sparks the desire to have you back in her life. Here's the hard truth: attention is a currency, and silence is how you increase its value. If you're constantly texting her, calling her, and showing up with your attention, she'll start treating it like loose change, always there and never special. But when you pull back a little, when you make your attention rare, she starts to value it more. Rare things are coveted, and this is the emotional principle that governs attraction. Let's dig deeper into this. When you pull back, you're doing something far more powerful than just creating distance. You're actually creating space for her to miss you. And missing someone isn't about longing for their presence all the time, it's about recognizing their value in the absence of their presence. When you're too available, there's no time for her to reflect on what she's losing. But when you hold back, even if it's just for a short while, she starts to realize that your attention is something she might take for granted. Now, don't confuse this silence with immaturity. It's not about playing childish games or being immature. The goal is not to ignore her out of spite, but to create balance. It's about showing her that your life doesn't revolve around her messages and that you have your own world, your own priorities, and that you're not dependent on her for validation. A man who doesn't need constant communication to feel secure is a man who exudes self-confidence and self-respect. Women are incredibly intuitive, and they can sense when a man is emotionally available all the time. This type of availability communicates desperation and neediness. But when you pull back and remain silent, even if just for a short time, you show her that you're okay with silence, that you're fine living your life without her constant validation. That's what makes a man irresistible: his independence. Here's a practical example. Imagine you've been texting her daily, and then, for whatever reason, her replies start becoming less frequent or more delayed. Most men, in this situation, panic and think they need to text more to win her back. But instead, when you notice, one of the biggest mistakes that men make when trying to win a woman's heart is overcommunication. They think that the more they text, call, or check in with her, the more likely they are to gain her affection. While this may seem like the right approach, in reality, it's one of the fastest ways to make her lose interest. When you're always available and constantly communicating, your words begin to lose their value. Initially, it might feel like you're doing the right thing by reaching out, but in time, it becomes predictable, and predictability kills the excitement in a relationship. It's human nature: if something is always there, we start to take it for granted. The novelty wears off, and you're no longer seen as special. However, silence, specifically the art of strategic silence, has incredible power. It's the absence of communication that creates emotional tension, which in turn leads to curiosity. Curiosity is a powerful emotional trigger that can transform her feelings for you. When you're silent, you're creating a space where she starts to wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and why you haven't reached out. This wondering is what sparks her interest and, eventually, her desire. In female psychology, mystery plays a massive role in attraction. Women, like men, are drawn to things that intrigue them, that challenge them, and that they can't fully understand. If you give away all your thoughts, feelings, and plans from the beginning, you eliminate the mystery that keeps a woman hooked. Think about it this way: when you first meet someone, there's always an element of mystery. You don't know everything about them, and that intrigue keeps you engaged. As time goes on, that mystery starts to fade, and unless something new or exciting comes up, interest can begin to fade as well. The same goes for relationships. If you tell a woman everything about yourself too quickly, if you share every little detail and expose all your feelings, there's nothing left for her to wonder about. And without the ability to wonder, there's no emotional tension, no space for desire to grow. The more you reveal about yourself, the less she has to chase or imagine. This lack of mystery can lead to boredom and loss of attraction. By holding back, by not immediately sharing everything with her, you're giving her something to think about. It's that unknown quality about you that keeps her interested. She'll want to know more, and this curiosity will naturally lead to her missing you when you're not around. The more you leave to the imagination, the more she will be drawn to you. This doesn't mean you should play games or be dishonest, but rather that you should practice restraint. Let her discover things about you over time, instead of laying it all out on the table. Keep a bit of mystery. Share some details, but always leave her wanting more. This gives her space to think about you, and thinking about you is what ultimately leads to missing you. Silence isn't just about withholding information, it's also about being emotionally reserved at times. A man who isn't emotionally available all the time, who doesn't immediately respond to every text, call, or message, is a man who commands respect. This silence is powerful because it shows that you're not dependent on her for validation or attention. You have your own life, your own priorities, and your own identity. When you give her space, you let her come to the realization that your attention is valuable. And the more you make her value your attention, the more she will crave it. Women are attracted to men who have their own lives, who are comfortable being themselves without needing constant approval. The more you respect your own time and space, the more respect she'll have for you. This is why creating mystery works. It's the balance of being present when necessary, but also knowing when to pull back and let her wonder about you. When you pull away just enough, without disappearing completely, you create an emotional void. And it's this emotional space, this absence, that makes her realize how much she values your presence. She will begin to think about you more, miss you when you're not around, and eventually crave your attention. So, remember, silence is powerful, but so is mystery. By creating both, you allow her to wonder about you, desire you, and ultimately, miss you. In relationships, it's often the things that are unsaid, the things that are left to the imagination, that make the biggest impact. Silence and mystery are not just about avoiding communication or playing games, they are about knowing your worth, giving her space to miss you, and allowing the attraction to grow naturally over time. By mastering the art of silence and creating a sense of mystery around you, you will become someone she can't stop thinking about, someone she'll miss when you're not around. One of the most powerful tools in creating attraction and making a woman miss you is the combination of mystery, confidence, and the subtle fear of losing you. Many men believe that the key to winning a woman's heart is to be constantly available. always there when she needs them, and showering her with affection. However, this mindset can backfire quickly, leading to a loss of interest. The truth is, women are attracted to men who maintain a sense of mystery and have the confidence to show they don't need to prove their worth to anyone. Mystery is the key to maintaining attraction. When a man shares every little detail about himself too quickly, he removes the sense of intrigue that naturally develops when someone is mysterious. The thrill of getting to know someone is a huge part of the attraction, and if you reveal too much, too soon, there's nothing left for her to wonder about. This doesn't mean you should lie or withhold important information, but the allure of mystery comes from not telling her everything right away. By maintaining a certain level of mystery, you give her the chance to wonder about you. Women are naturally curious, and the unknown is often far more intriguing than the known. When she doesn't know everything about you, her mind fills in the blanks. She'll think about what you might be doing when you're not around, who you're with, and why you're so interesting. This curiosity sparks emotional attraction, as she'll always be trying to piece together the puzzle that is you. Confidence makes you unforgettable. Confidence is one of the most attractive qualities a man can possess. It's not about arrogance, but rather about being comfortable in your own skin and not needing constant validation from others. Confidence is magnetic because it signals strength, stability, and leadership. When you are confident, you don't need to chase after her or try to prove yourself. You simply know your worth, and that is incredibly attractive. A confident man doesn't seek attention, he commands it. He's not afraid to take up space in a room, to express his thoughts without worrying about others' opinions. This type of confidence doesn't need to be loud or boastful, it's quiet, unshakable, and undeniable. When a woman sees this type of confidence in a man, she is drawn to him because it signals that he is secure and that he has his own life independent of her. Confidence also gives you the power to walk away when necessary. This is an incredibly important trait. When a man is confident in himself and his value, he knows that he doesn't have to chase anyone, including a woman. If she's not showing interest or respect, he's perfectly fine moving on, because he knows that he deserves someone who values him. This self-assurance is what makes a woman realize that she might lose him, which brings us to the final component, the fear of loss. The fear of losing you triggers desire. One of the most effective ways to make a woman miss you is to make her realize that she could lose you. It's human nature to value things that we might lose, and the same goes for relationships. If a woman knows that you will always be there, no matter what, she has no incentive to work for your attention or affection. But when you show her that your time and attention are not guaranteed, it triggers a sense of urgency. Creating this fear of losing you doesn't mean playing mind games or manipulating her. It means living your life in a way that demonstrates you are valuable and that your world does not revolve around her. When you are emotionally available but not constantly chasing her or being at her beck and call, she begins to wonder, what if he moves on? What if another woman is getting his attention? This fear, while subtle, is incredibly powerful because it forces her to reassess her feelings. She starts to realize how much she actually values your presence. When you make yourself less available, emotionally and physically, it increases your perceived value. A woman begins to fear the loss of someone who is confident, independent, and emotionally secure. How to make this work for you? The key to creating mystery, confidence, and the fear of loss is to strike the right balance. You need to be present enough to show her that you're interested, but not so available that you lose your value. Always keep her wondering a little bit, leave some things to her imagination. Don't reveal all your thoughts, plans, and feelings at once. Let her discover you over time. At the same time, be confident in your own life. Have your own goals, passions, and hobbies. Don't make her the center of your universe. Instead, let her become a part of your world. When she sees that you have a fulfilling life outside of her, she'll naturally start to appreciate your presence more. Finally, create a sense of urgency by living your life in a way that suggests you're not afraid to walk away if necessary. If she doesn't value you, someone else will. And that realization, that she could lose you, is what makes her miss you and crave your presence.